If you're a high achiever, if you're an entrepreneur, you could definitely relate to this. Because when things are working in your business and in your life, man, you're on. You're dialed in. You continue to attract opportunities and people into your business, and you do it effortlessly. But when things are bad, you continue to attract more things into your life that are not working. And then you wonder, why do I continue to attract these things into my life? Just a few weeks ago, things were doing fine. I was dialed in. I was living on the edge. I see, that's because you're not aware of your state. Your state of being attracts those opportunities or repels those opportunities. So this week I did a training for my clients. I talked about the two states every single man operates of. And in this training, I'm going to show you how you could switch from the state of fear to the state of expansion. It's never what happens to you that matters, it's how you react to it that matters. So whatever it is right now that's going on in your life, you're operating from a place of expansion or a place of fear. So when you react from a place of fear, you're going to attract more things into your life because stress and pressure puts a state of uncertainty. The pressure gets to you and you feel uncertain about the future. And the pressure gets to you and the stress builds up, and then you become a man that's in the tunnel, a man that doesn't know what to do. See, you make decisions out of scarcity and you continue to attract more of the things that you don't want. That's what happens when you're in a state of fear. That's what happens when you don't know what to do, when you have uncertainty. See, when you operate from a state of fear, you're going to create more fear. And see, your energy is contagious and you will trigger the fear in the people that you lead. See, that's what's so important for you as a leader, to be aware of what state are you operating out of. Because every single time that you operate from the state of fear, you will trigger that fear to your wife, to your kids, to your employees, to your customers. And every single time that you focus on the things that you don't want, you're going to constantly attract those things into your life. See, if you don't stop this pattern, you will begin to sabotage everything you create. And I see this over and over again. When a man is stuck in the state of fear, he sabotages his business, his marriage, and even his health. Why? Because you're constantly focusing on the things that you don't have, and you operate from a place of not having enough. And when you operate from a place of fear, you repel people and opportunities. Even if people want to help you, you're going to repel them. Why? Because energy is contagious. And even if the opportunities are in front of you, you're not going to see it. Why? Because you're so focused on the things that you don't have that you're not able to see the things that are right in front of you. See, weak men are easily controlled by fear. And every single time that you are operating from fear, you're being controlled. You're being controlled by the enemy, you're being controlled by the media, you're being controlled by people around you. And that's when most men begin to sedate. Because that fear is too big for you to handle. That fear is too much. So that's the moment that you feel like you don't know what to do when you're alone. See, the moment that you break through that fear, the moment that you step out of that fear, you begin to operate from a place of expansion. When you operate from the state of expansion, you create growth. You begin to see the possibilities. And a man that's expanded becomes attractive. People want to do business with a man that's expanded. People want to do business with somebody that's going somewhere. Nobody wants to do business with people who are victims of their circumstances. Nobody wants to do business with people who don't know what to do, have uncertainty. If you want to attract opportunities, if you want to attract the people to your life, whether it's employees, customers, or business, you have to have the mindset of expansion. Because people want to be around that energy of expansion. People want to be around people who are going somewhere. See, to go from a state of fear to a state of expansion, you have to learn how to process fear. Because see, the fear is what's going to get to expansion. There is no expansion without facing your fears. Because the moment that you know how to process the fear that gets you stuck in the place of uncertainty, in the other side, it's an opportunity for you to see what expansion looks like. So today we're going to talk about the 5 steps to go from fear to expansion. Because every single one of us is going to face fear. But we have to become masters of processing that fear to go to expansion. So the first step, The first step is feeling the fear. Not masking it, but feeling it. I see, we don't like to feel negative emotions. We don't want to feel the fear. But the only way to get stronger is to actually face the fear. So journal the fear. Think about it. Whatever it is that you're afraid of, think about it. Because once you feel it, you realize that it's never as bad as you imagine it. Once you feel it, you realize that your mind is also going to take you to the worst case scenario, because that's what your mind does. Your mind is constantly trying to get you to the worst place. See, the average man runs away from that. The average man doesn't want to go there. But see, if you want to grow, if you want to expand, you have to take your mind there, because you can't be afraid of feeling it. You can't be afraid of seeing it. So your job as a man is to continue to build that energy of facing your fear by not running away from those thoughts, not running away from those feelings, not running away from those emotions. Because that's what happens. Pressure leads to depression. If you feel the pressure, if you feel the stress, and if you don't know how to manage that fear, it will lead to depression. Depression happens when you don't know how to manage the fear that you have, when you don't know how to manage all the struggles that you're facing. Because your mind is taken to a place that you don't know how to control. So the second is, now that you're there, expand your fear. Now that you're there, you have to make things even worse. See, once you feel it, I want you to start picturing it as even worse. I want you to start imagining, how can this be worse? Whatever it is that you're going through, whatever you imagine, and make it even worse, because that's the only way you're going to build emotional fitness. Because emotional fitness happens when you could deal with those punches in your mind. See, knowing that they're not real, knowing that it's just imagination, but you have to take yourself there. How can this be worse? Because the moment that you start dealing with fear before it consumes you, it turns into fuel. When you could see that things could be worse, you will get perspective. You start appreciating what you have in front of you. See, that's the part when people don't understand and how to turn fear into fuel, is you actually stepping into the worst case scenario. And the moment that you step into the worst case scenario, you realize that you're building the strength to deal with it. And every single time that you face a challenge, you already dealt with it in your mind. You already broke, you already sick, you already were alone. So the moment that you could actually see it and feel it in your mind and in your body, if it ever happens, you've dealt with it before. So it's not going to be new. The third step is see the reality as it is. Once you feel the energy of the fear, see it as it is. Don't make it better, don't make it worse. Whatever you're afraid of, see it as it is. Because the moment that you become present of what it is never as bad as your mind took you to. It's never as bad as what the mind thinks the future could be. So when you see it as it is, then you have to accept the reality and surrender. And that is the key in order for you to turn it around, turn the energy around, is you have to accept the reality. You can't argue with reality. And you have to believe that you're exactly where you need to be. That God wants you to be here. In this, even if it's a shitty situation that you find yourself in, even if it's shit in your business, in your marriage, in your health, this is exactly where you need to be, because life is giving you the opportunity for you to grow and expand. If you run away from this opportunity, if you run away from this experience, you're going to repeat it over and over and over again. So that's what gets me excited. Whenever I feel the fear, whenever I feel the challenge, I look as an opportunity for me to grow and expand. And I ask, what is God trying to tell me? What is the feedback here? And the fourth step is change your focus. Because whatever you focus on expands. What are you focusing on? Are you focused on the things that you can't control? Or are you focused on the things that you can control? Because the moment that you focus on the things you can control, you could change things. You can't change your wife, you can't change your kids, you can't change your employees. You could change how you operate. You could change how you show up. You could change where you're going. And when you focus on the things you control, it's a lot easier for you to change your reality. One way is to argue with reality. Arguing with reality will turn you into a victim. Focusing on things you control will help you create a new reality because it's up to you. Because whatever you focus on the most, you will create. Whatever you put your energy towards, whatever you're thinking about the most, whatever it is that you're constantly thinking about is going to happen. The problem is that most people are thinking about the worst case scenario. That's why you attract the worst case scenario. You're thinking about fear, therefore you attract more fear. The key to expansion is focus on the possibility. What is possible if you find the solution? What is possible if you break through? What is possible if in the other side there's another version of you? See, most people get stuck in the old version. Most people get stuck in the old story. Most people get stuck in the victim mentality. When you start focusing on the possibility, you start shifting the energy to the next step, which is decide. And this is the key here. If you want to go from fear to expansion, it's a decision. A decision happens the moment that you have enough pain. When you have enough pain in your marriage, when you have enough pain in your business, when you have enough pain in your body, you're going to do something about it. The reason that most people don't change is because they don't have enough pain and they're comfortable with the situation. If right now you're comfortable in your business, well, you're not going to change. If you're comfortable in your marriage, you're not going to change. If you're comfortable with your health, you're not going to change. The moment that you start feeling the pain that you have, accepting the fear, and even expanding even better, you're going to realize that you have a choice. You have to decide, are you going to stay the same, or are you going to reinvent yourself and evolve? Because at the end, it takes courage for you to make a decision. It takes courage for you to decide to move forward. It takes courage for you to say, I don't want this no more. Some of you guys have been carrying the same fear for a long fucking time. Fear of not having enough, fear of not being enough, fear of failure. It's time for you to start facing your fear. How do you go from fear to expansion? Courage. And courage doesn't mean that you're not afraid. Courage means that you're willing to face your fear. You're willing to decide that this is not going to be my story anymore. You're willing to decide, I am going to step into faith. I'm going to break through. I might be afraid of what it is that I want to do, but I'm not going to let fear stop me from trying. How is next year going to be any different than this year? How are you going to manage and process fear next year than this year? I'll tell you right now, if it wasn't because of these processes that I have, the framework, I wouldn't be able to help my kids process this because they watch how I operate and they model how I operate. And maybe some times that you're going to have in your life that people are operating in a certain way, and instead of judge them, guide them. But if you don't know how to process fear, you're going to project into them your own fears. Because you're either going to be a gift or a curse. If you don't know how to operate from expansion, then you're cursing your family with fear. And as a leader, that's going to be your legacy. So my intention for you is to realize that your job is to go from fear to expansion in every single area of your life. Every single fear that you have, fear of getting old, fear of scarcity, fear of criticism, all those fears are designed by the enemy to keep you stuck. The moment that you decide and you make the decision to become better, to face your fears, to have the courage, to step into faith, to be a leader, all those fears are not going to go away. They're going to still be there. But you're going to be stronger. You're going to know that every single day, those fears are not going to dictate your destiny. Because courage is not that you're not afraid. Courage is doing the things that you must do even though you're afraid. So the moment that you decide to change, you will change. Until then, things are always going to stay the same. So don't bring the same shit from this year to next year. Decide to let go. Decide to make a change. Decide to be different. Because I guarantee you, the moment that you make a decision, the universe is going to conspire to test you. See, most people believe, oh, the universe is going to conspire to give me everything I want. No, the universe is going to conspire to test you, to see, do you want it bad enough? Do you truly want it? See, that's where most people fail. Because with the moment they decide to step into faith and they get a little bit of adversity, they go back to fear. I want to encourage you to look forward to the test, to look forward to the challenge. That's how you know you've been chosen to lead. That's how you know that you're part of the 1%. 99% of men will go back to fear. 99% of men will say, well, at least I try. At least I give it my best shot. But that was bullshit because they only gave it one shot and they tried half-ass. Are you willing to do whatever it takes to break through? Are you willing to do whatever it takes to break through the fucking curses from your family and give them the gift of expansion? Because if not, every single time that you step out of faith, you're going to get punched in the face and you're going to quit. The mantra for next year should be, whatever it fucking takes. Whatever it fucking takes. That's my mantra for next year. I want to do whatever it fucking takes because I know what's at risk if I operate from fear. I know who's going to be impacted if I don't step into faith and expansion. And I believe that if you're in this call and you're watching this video, you also have been called to expansion. But it's not going to happen unless you're willing to whatever it fucking takes. Because that's the moment that you realize that the best is yet to come. If you like this content, make sure you subscribe to the channel. But most important, if you want to have access to this content on a weekly basis for my live trainings, download the Edge 100 app. The Edge 100 app gives you access to my live trainings every single week. So go to the Edge 100 app and download it and get access now.